Now, everyone knows that I really love Forbidden Memories because of how much of a connection I have with it going back into my childhood. So today I want to do something special as a timepiece of a thing that I've been working on for the past couple years that I'm still working on it, but I've been waiting for the OCG cards to come in slowly as I've been picking them up over time. So let's talk about the Forbidden Memory binders. So there's a total of 2 of them, and let's get right into it. So first off, we have 2 total binders of these 4x3s, and honestly, there is quite a bit of cards in here that shocks people that they were in this game. Now, what the Forbidden Memory binder is, it's the first 100 or 722 cards of the game in the database. So let's get right into it and let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to be apologizing for the glare right there, so I have to hold the page up a little. But as you can see, it's a lot of the older cards that we grew up with and through our childhood and all that, and it starts all with Blue Eyes White Dragon at number 1 in the whole database. And as you can see, there's a lot of super old cards and a lot of cards that are newer print to the TCG, like Shadow Spectre, that was imported through Speed Duel, which is one of the reasons why I really love Speed Duel, because it reprinted a lot of these older cards that needed reprints or imported normal monsters that needed them. It's why I made the video on the Primite pack, so we can get the rest of these, because if we go into the next page, there are these blanks here. Now, these are just blanks as missing spots, as they're not printed in the TCG yet. But as you can see, you have all 5 pieces of Exodia right here. I have the Lost Art promotion ones in the binder. So there's that. You also have things like Time Wizard, Flame Swordsman, even Skull Servants in the original bunch, which is really nice, and even something like Summon the Skull. And you can see stuff like Dark Magicians here, and just a lot of these older cards that people used to play. And it surprised me how long that Yu-Gi-Oh's come from, back from the old days, back in 2002, all the way to now, even back in 1999. Summon Skull was the best in tribute summon on a level 6, and if you couldn't afford that, it was reprinted in a starter deck, which I really do like. Judgment is a second best option because it came in common. Now after that, you can see there's quite more going on here. You have Gaia the Fierce Knight, Gaia Dragon Champion, and all that. You even have stuff like Sangan and Kuriboh. One of the fun trivia facts about Forbidden Memories is that every single card is a normal monster outside of Exodia the Forbidden One from the game. And it's really nice seeing all these cards together because it brings back the nostalgia that I grew up with and the nostalgia that I really enjoy. Some of these are foreign cards, like the Great White Shark, because I don't have the English copy yet, but that's absolutely fine because those will come from a later date. You even have stuff like Basic Insect, Giant Fleet, a lot of these old tournament pack cards that still don't have reprints, which kind of shocks me to this day. And after that, you have stuff that's sorted by, like, My Valentine with Harpy Lady and Harpy Lady Sisters. You have Tiger X and Silverfang that were used. You even have Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, and then you have Joey's cards, Mako Tsunami cards. Yugi has his Giant Soldier of Stone. You even have Grappler here, which was recently printed in the Kaiba briefcase, which honestly, I'm really happy that we finally have this. And then you have more of Rex Raptor cards. Joey, well, this is all Rex Raptor right here, which is nice. And then we go into the weird attack monsters like Castle Dark Illusion with 920, Rebirth cards with 1380. And then we see King and Yami Makai, and then Barox at 1380. We're still missing Dark Chimera, and just so many others, which kind of baffles me because a lot of the missing cards are nostalgic for a lot of people, and we don't have ways to access them. We also have something like Mystic Horseman and Rabbit Horseman used by Kaiba. There's also Battle Warrior and the Clown or the zombie stuff that we saw In Duel's Kingdom, as we could see, you have Crawling Dragon, Crass Clown, but we don't have Zanki, but yet we have Armored Zombie, Dragon Zombie, and Clown Zombie, along with Pumpkin of the Ghost. So that is all sorted through the whole Duel's Kingdom arc, which I really do like. There's Firewing Pegasus, a very expensive normal monster. Even Curtain of the Dark Ones is a little expensive. Mask of Darkness for your past format, which is very nice. And as we go through the binder, you can see there's more blank spots. You have Goddess with the third eye. People still use that even till today. In stuff like Branded, you have Kaimino Wizard, which is an instant fusion target that you could use for your dark spellcasters, or if you need a level 4 for something like Infernity, which I like the utility that it has. Dream Clown for your clown decks, and just a lot of normal monsters that you wouldn't normally see play. Now, a lot of these are Primate targets, which is cool, like you have a Windwing Beast with Spirit of the Books, or a Dark Spellcaster with Nemariku, or if you really want, you could play Ancient Tool as a Dark Machine target. And as we go on, there are some OCG cards in here, like Fiend's Hand, and which is fine, because I want to collect all the OCG cards, and if someone has the way to get me those, I would be absolutely happy. As you can always just email me through my YouTube email if I have it in my contacts for my channel. But even then, you have Necrolancer the Time Lord, Fire Reaper, which was imported into Speed Duel, which baffles me. You even have things like the Shadow who controls the dark, which was a Speed Duel import, and I kind of miss Speed Duel because of it. You also have Judgment Hand, and also Claw Reacher, which, honestly, a lot of cool cards. Spirit of the Harp is in here, a good level 4 2000 defender back in the day. Big Eye before number 11 Big Eye was a card. Darkfire Dragon, one of the most prominent fusion monsters in past formats because it's a dragon, and you can use it as Exceed material, which comes in handy. After that, we could see there's Eye Armor, and then a lot of the Charmer familiars like Happy Lover, Petite Dragon, Archfiend, Marmot Nefariousness. Even Fusionist is in here from Madolche's back in the day. So that is one of the cool things about this binder, because it just shows a lot of history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And a lot of things that people can think of and use, like Ready Fusion with Roaring Ocean Dragon if you need a level 6 water. Or even Flame Ghost is here, which I really do enjoy seeing. Black Skull Dragon is another one, which comes later after the whole Red Eyes and Summon Skull, because, again, it's Duel's Kingdom Order, and this is where it was released and summoned. You have Starfish, which is a card that a lot of people remember from Forbidden Memories and the old games because it was in your starting deck. Thunder Kid, another one. Petite Angel and Drollbird. You have more familiars, even Winged Cleaver. After that, you have Hourglass of Life. There was also our Hourglass of Courage, but some of them haven't been imported yet. You have Rare Fish, a great card for past format Mermail. The Durdek, Candle of Fate, and even Nekogal number 1. A lot of people like Nekogal number 1 and 2 because waifu tax. But outside of that, you have beautiful Headhunters, Hanawa, just a lot of unique cards, and I really like looking at the artwork because old Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely has a way of showing that they cared about the art and a lot of little minor details. Metabat here being Dark the Dark Charmer's familiar. Everyone, for some reason, always calls out Wudan because Wudan's Wudan. Then after that, we have stuff like DD Warrior. Before it was named DD Warrior, it was Dimensional Warrior, I think. Beast King of the Swamp, people use that in Tier Element because it's a Aqua Water. Level 4. Vergas of the Destroyer, another fusion sub. Malvis for a level 4 instant fusion target that's Wind, which honestly is pretty unique. And even past things like Unknown Warrior, people remember that from Starter Deck Kaiba. But as we go through here, as you can see, some of them are super old, like Cyber Soldier of Dark World, and some of them are still super new, like Gatekeeper, which was recently imported. And then you have things from like Legacy of the Valiant. Dark Artist was imported then. Change Slime imported in Speed Duel. Just a lot of cool things. And I cannot wait to get the QCR Petite Moth for this binder, just to have it right there. And then after a whole entire slew of monsters, we get into the first wave of equip spells, starting with a legendary sword, going all the way into something of Power of Kaishin. So this page is a very interesting page because the last card that was added to this whole entire page of 24 cards was Elf's Light. And it's really nice seeing where the game came from with equip spells and how they're utilized back then to now. I remember when my friends and I were doing a progression. First things that we were doing was Witty Phantom and Dark Energy, along with Yumi. Or, yeah, Yami. As it would give it enough attack so it could attack over someone's skull. And it's just unique on how things were. And you can see it's by monster type, and then we get into specifics like Harpy Lady, more Harpy Lady stuff, and Thunder. But then you go back to, oh, Beast Warrior, Stop Defense is there, Violet Crystal for zombies, generic, Book of Secret Arts for Spellcaster, and Invigoration for Fiend, I think that one's Fiend. But there's just a lot of uniqueness, and out of all of these, the one that's the latest import was Insect Armor with Laser Cannon, and that was from Number Hunters, which is crazy to think about. But the oldest, or the most expensive one on this page is Steel Shell and Elf's Light. Elf's Light's like $90 because it's only one print. And same for Steel Shell. They're both Tournament Pack 1, and those are super old and hard to come by. So it's really cool. And some of these cards were gifted to me for compensation for helping friends, and I am really happy how far this came because I own every single card from the TCG side of things that is in this whole entire collection that's not OCG. And as you can see, Machine, another, you have Dinosaur, Winged Beast, Aqua, and then you get to the 6 field spells. Also, Dragon Capture Jar was a spell card back in some of the older games, as it was board wipe for dragons. You have Dark Hole and Raigeki. Feather Dusters later on, because that was added later. You have all your heal cards like Muon Curry, Red Medicine, Goblin, Secret Recipe, Soul of Here, all the way to Diane Keto. As you can see, it goes up in attack by 2, or in life points, 200, 500, 600. Then you go up to 800 and then 1,000. And then for the life point gain, it goes 50 to your 500 to all the way up. Inflict damage to your opponent's life points, 600, 800 to 1,000. So it's a thing of a step up, like, oh, more you go up, the better it gets. So you could easily just start from Sparks and move your way up to Tremendous Fire. And this page ends on Swords of Revealing Light. After that, you have Spellbinding Circle and Dark Piercing Light. And then you have some of the McDonald cards just thrown about in here. Seiryu is in here as well. And then you have Super Warline, Zura the Man, Fiend's Mirror, and Blackluster Soldier. Those 4 cards are the cards that were from the 1999 championship. And those 4 cards are just smack in the middle of normal monsters, because ritual monsters were originally normal monsters until they said, let's do ritual monsters. And that's how that happened, because the manga had normal monsters because Dark Magician of Chaos. And then you get to see stuff from the Paradox Brothers. You have all your Labyrinth Wall stuff, Wall Shadow, Shadow Ghoul, Labyrinth Tank, Sangan of the Thunder. I still need to get a super rare of that, but don't judge me on that. You have Kazujin, and then Suijin on this side with Gate Guardian. And you have more of their pieces like Dungeon Worm and Monster Tamer. Then you get Kaiba cards right here. with reconditioned powered Sword Stalker, Lajin, and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And then you also then go into Pegasus from Toon Alligator all the way to Bickery Box. You have My Valentine with Harpy's Pet Dragon, Mystic Lamp, I forgot who used that, and then you go into Bandit Keith versus Joey, being Pendulum Machine, Guilty of the D-Knight, Launcher Spider, Metal Zoa, and Zoa. And then you have other cards after that, which I really do enjoy seeing some manga implications here. Like this whole section here, you get to see that in a whole entire duel. And 2 different duels, actually. But as we close out this binder, you can see there's just a few random cards here. You have Ushi-Oni, Monster Eye, and then you have more machine monsters with Metal Dragon, a good ready fusion target for your wind machine decks if you need. Karakuri Spider, that used to be called Mechanical Spider. And then you go into things like Shovel Crusher, Blocker, Blast Juggler, and even Cybersteins in here from the original 722. Then let's get into the next page. You see Thunder Dragon starts, and where's Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon? That would come later because it is a recolor of a previous card. Goddess of Whim, this recently got a retrain, and it's cool seeing a lot of these older cards getting retrains. Kaiser Dragon, I always wanted a deck around Kaiser Dragon, and it's one of my favorite fusion monsters from the second McDonald's pack. You also have Aqua Dragon and Deep Sea Shark. Turret Purn recently also got a retrain, and everyone's favorite meme card, 7-Color Fish. Then afterwards, we have more things like Giant Sea Snake, Punished Eagle, Bolt Penguin. This card I remember was memed so hard when we got it imported. Kaminari Attack, I remember when Thunder Dragon used it. Crimson Sunbird, that thing was memed from every which way. And Punished Eagle. And then on the final page of Binder 1, you can see we have Mystical Ghost, Soul Hunter, and Vermilion Sparrow. Sinister Serpent right in the center with Sea Kaiman and Cockroach Knight along there. As we get into the next binder, it ended off with insects. It's probably going to start more with an insect, but it doesn't, which is weird because it starts with Burglar, a beast. We can see we have Needle Ball, Flower Wolf, and Practical, Rainbow Flower, and Amoeba, and just a few more blank spots here and there. And to the next page, it's a little more iconic because you have things like Mahavilo, Maneater Bug, Musician King, sorry, Galdagra for your funny FTK decks, Brachio-Radius, this is a randomly expensive fusion monster, Cybersaurus before it was deemed not a Cybers card or Cyber card, and Cannon Soldier as well for your FTK nonsense, which I find funny as we get through into the later parts of the binder. Along with Muka Muka, a lot of people feared that growing up. And then we get into this page. You have Skullbird, Quaggar Hercules, and Mystic Sand, along with Gemini Alphas here. Other things, we have Starboy and Millis Radiant, both things that got retrained into Link monsters. Mega Thunderball, even Corroding Shark. After that, we get into the world of recolors. That starts literally, I think, with Dark Elf. But we also have Skeletal, Mushroom Man number 2. I remember when people were buying this up because Kashtira. Gold Mammoth Gravefind, and Needleworm, all right there. Wretched Attic of the Ghost being the precursor to Memento Gaddick, which is silly. Winged Dragon Guardian number 2. So there's just a lot of old cards in here that really tell a story. You have Man-Eating Black Shark, Emperor's Judge, Witch of the Black Forest, and even Green Kappa. Do you have your Green Kappas for your past formats? I have my one. Weather Report, a lot of people remember, but we still don't have weather control. Afterwards, we go into more recolors. Yes, Morphing Jar is a recolor, believe it or not. It's a recolor of Ancient Jar. You have a few others like Rose Spectre Dun, and you'll have Little Chimera, and some other cards that match it like Bladefly and Penguin Soldier. You have Fairy Dragon, recolor of Petite Moth, Shining Friendship, recolor. Even Great Bill is a recolor of Drollbird. A Beast Marmot of Nefariousness is easy to tell that it's a recolor. Same for Liquid Beast. After that, there's the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon right in the corner with Marine Beast and Warrior of Tradition. And there's Hourglass of Courage, but we're still missing one Hourglass. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but I don't really remember. There's Nekogal number 2 as a recolor of number 1. We have Queen's Double, another recolor, and Stone Ogre Grotto. These things, don't get me on a tangent for that. And we Haitai Jiojin with Nekiashi. And now we're getting into the interesting part of the binder. As we can see, we're ending on this whole entire monster spree. As you can see, there is the Amphibious Bergoth with stuff like Flame Viper from McDonald's pack and Mystical Sheep number 1. And the monsters end here for now with Whiptail Crow. As you can see, Kunai with Chains right here, starting a interesting point because this was an equipped spell in Forbidden Memory. We have Magical Labyrinth and Warrior of Tradition. We have a lot of removals. Now, one thing I do want to note, D-Spell is the placement holder for the Spellbreaker because they're the same realistically, but not. They're two different cards, but this was made because the other one was skipped. And it happens with a few others, like Angel Trumpeters, one of the only equipped spells that we don't have, that I ended up just deciding, let's double sleeve it and put a grayscale proxy on it with the effect text from the video game. So I know which spaces are which and which cards haven't been printed yet. Megamorph, instead of doubling the attack, it gives you 1,000 boost. Kunai with Chain giving you 500. But as we go on, you can see more grayscale cards in ritual spells. So you have things like Breath of Light, Eternal Drought, 3 ritual spells here on this page, 3 on this page, and plus Invisible Wire right there. Also, Remove Trap is in place for Bear Trap because Bear Trap was another type of Invisible Wire card. But as you can see on this page right here, you have more ritual spells along with stuff like Harpy's Feather Duster. Then you also have more ritual spells on the next page, being stuff like Hungry Burger and Nilbox Prayer, 2 ritual spells that recently got their own deck retrain in Novels and Voiceless Voice. And that is really cool to think about. And I hope that they go down the line and give us retrains for more of these rituals. I'm expecting Zura the Mant next. If not, give us something like Queen's Mirror. And then you can see you have Mask of Construct of Mask, Revivals, the Surfer Knight Dragon, and the Puppet Ritual with Cosmo Queen Ritual. But you can see on this page we have more trap cards like Widespread Ruin, Acid Trap Hole, Fake Trap, and Reverse Trap, along with other things like your Javelin Beetle, Pact, Garment Sword, and Fortress Whale Oath. And then you get to start to go into these final boss monsters that characters would have, like your Sinjin Jin, Skull Guardian, Trihorn Dragon, Serpent Knight Dragon, Skull Guardian or Skull Knight, and Cosmo Queen. And then finally we're on the last page. Now this last page is a little bit interesting to say, because let's take a look at this side first. You have Chakra, Crab Turtle, Javelin Beetle, Garma Sword, Fortress Whale, all of these high-end monsters like Mikazuki or Mikazuki no Yaiba, and Meteor Dragon with Meteor Black Dragon. That's cool. Javelin Beetle, Fortress Whale, Garment Sword, Dodeku Rider. The only card on this page that we don't have are Puppet or Psycho Puppet and Mask of Shine and Dark. And then finally on the last page, I have Black Magic Ritual and Magician of Black Chaos. This is the last card in the 722, but following, I have Dark Magician of Chaos because these two are the exact same card if you guys watched a previous short of mine. Then after that, I have the Yugi Kaiba token from the Megaton, the 3 special cards that we got in the whole entire legendary decks that they did, where you can get Duelist Kingdom, Glory of the King's Hand, and Set Sail for the Kingdom, along with all 3 Egyptian God cards here. And finally, to round everything out, Shiba Warrior Taro, which is Kazuki Takahashi's dog, as a way to say, hey, I have this here because this is the end of the whole binder. I could expand it up to 5,000 if I wanted to, but that's way more cards that haven't been printed yet. But this is a collection that I've been going on for so long, that I've been building, and I guess it's really only thing I could say is I kind of need help with the OCG cards. I've ordered a few more are coming in the mail, but a lot of them are just random one print normal monsters that are like $5 to $40. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking forward to in the future, trying to get down and ordering. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video on the Forbidden Memory binders, as I've been putting a lot of work into them and making sure that I have a preservation of the first 100 or 722 cards. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you all in the next video.